Hello there. The government has at last acknowledged the disappearance of any semblance of UK border control. So a government minister, in the form of the Defence Secretary John Healey, has just admitted that the UK government has lost control of the country's borders, after about 1,200 boat arrivals got to our beaches on Saturday. And in one video I saw of the occupants of the boats, one keffiyeh-wearing passenger was making the ISIS salute. Welcome to the real world that the rest of the population outside of the Westminster bubble lives in, Mr. Healey. The truth about our lack of border control has been self-evident to the vast majority of the electorate for years, if not decades. And that voter base made it quite clear they wanted their political leaders, who wanted the job to govern over us in the first place, to do something about it. But I've always had the suspicion that government ministers, whether their rosettes be red, blue or yellow or whatever, toast every new arrival with bubbly in their private woke parties, knowing it will never be allowed to impact on their lives as more diversity barriers are erected in the streets and more armed officers patrol Westminster. I don't see any evidence of people trafficking gangs being smashed, just more smashed records for the largest number allowed, yes allowed, to cross the channel in a single day. While we pay the French huge dosh for their enforcement officers to stand idly on the beach and watch these people clamber onto dangerous vessels, sometimes with toddlers among them. While Starmer bleats endlessly about international efforts to smash the gangs, etc., and Healey claims that at some stage in the future the French will do something about it. I think we can collectively agree that foreign governments care not one jot about helping us control our own borders. Now, a lot of people will be hoping that those words by John Healey will bring with it a refurbished government spine where our borders are concerned. But being a cynic, I have another view. This will more likely be used to argue that as our national borders have collapsed and are unenforceable because of things like the ECHR that people like Healey claim we must never ever leave, then the only solution is to work with it instead of against it. Something that has actually been the de facto policy of successive governments anyway. All they want to do now is make it official and hope we'll all give up bleating about it. And I shudder to think what Starmer and his motley crew would really like to do, given half the chance. Running cruise liners direct from the ports of Africa, one imagines. And today that vacuous waste of space of a Prime Minister, Keir the Neela Starmer, will be telling us all about his grand defence plans of nuclear submarines to protect us against potential foes like Russia, when we can't even stop tens of thousands of people rocking up on our beaches in dinghies every year. Now, just to interject for a few seconds, if you do like our content, please join our membership programme for exclusive member-only content. Now back to task. No amount of defence spending will stop those rubber boats unless we leave the ECHR for starters. Now, some refer to those running these trafficking schemes as smugglers, hinting at murky goings-on at night, hidden from general view, when in actual fact it's the exact opposite. Every good weather crossing day we see this debacle flashed up on our digital screens, with Border Force and the RNLI spending most of their day publicly ferrying people one way from France into Dover. To the point other civilian vessels, like trawlers, have to be asked to go and do the rescuing of other vessels that are not involved in this trafficking, but get into trouble in the Channel. Allowing these rubber boats to clog up the channel and take all the time our rescue facilities have available is putting other English Channel users at risk. So no doubt the government will start providing more vessels in the channel to cater for it, so providing the people traffickers with even more opportunities to sell more tickets on more of their lethal little boats. And don't forget the part played by contractors and hotel owners in the UK being paid by government to accommodate, provide security for and feed all these newcomers. With the contracts extending many years into the future, an absolute statement that this will continue for the foreseeable future. Those contractors will not want to see their very lucrative gravy train brought to a halt any time soon. And all this and associated activities will be one of the few sectors that will be boosting UK GDP. All with the increased amount of money the taxpayers are forced to give government and the increased debt as government also borrows more to keep this so-called human rights concern going. Yes, these people first have the human right to put themselves and their families in severe danger from other shipping and the weather in the English Channel. And then second, they have the human right to destroy their documentation so that there's no way they can be repatriated to their own country. And thirdly, they have the human right to call in the UK Border Force and the RNLI to come and pick them up in French waters to rescue them from their own folly and ferry them into Dover. Then there's their human rights to 4-star hotel accommodation, food and spending money. And if they get into trouble in the Channel, guess what? It's our fault. And the human right to publish all that on social media as well, so as to encourage more to take the risks and follow them. And if any of the above concerns you, then as far as the woke left is concerned, you must be a racist National Socialist. But as I said, we now have this woke Labour government that doesn't want to be bothered with stopping unknown people getting into our country, talking big about the defence of the nation, and beefing up the defence budget by some unquantifiable number, by some unquantifiable date. This is just more talk to get the electorate to think that a Labour government will really do something about defence. But defence plans fall apart at the first contact with an enemy. And in this case, the enemy is not Russia or China or Iran. No, it's the woke civil service infesting the woke Department of Defence, the woke Home Office and the woke Foreign Office that are the real enemy, with the growing number of Hamas-supporting MPs not far behind them. They will not want to see money that they would spend on more DEI, boosting newcomer numbers and siphoning off into the hands of foreign governments, being diverted into non-progressive projects that enhance the defence and protection of the nation. After all, our civil serpents view every pound of tax as diversity money, to be spent on diversity, not new nuclear submarines or more border control, that's for sure. Finally, please like, subscribe and comment below, and a big shout out to our Patreon supporters, and thank you for watching.